It's actually 6:15, so June 12th, 2026. Siliconing stuff. I just kind of need this lasso or hackleberry or with them. This one's finished just to make sure. So I did the inside of this tool bag. There are some other um, bags, but pretty much main tool bags. The others are camping and exploring and things like other things. So I'm kind of giving you guys a tour of. Um, so I got pretty much their kind of bag. I've got a couple of other handbags. I don't really know where the harness is. I could use it as a tool bag, basically, but yeah, I brought this out because I'm going to be hooking it up to my Bluetooth. You know, sometimes I carry this around and basically I don't want to drop it or anything, so I could carry it around my neck, or you know, I have it around my wrist, or Alright, so I've got this Bluetooth speaker. I've got this hanging on this uh, lanyard, this neck lanyard, and I silicone this. But the thing is, it swings around. It's pretty good sometimes, and also sometimes to get the best out of your Bluetooth speaker, I think I got this piece of paracord. I think using it as a belt loop, I could also un and basically I put this loop on upside down, but it basically I just switch that around. So this center, just try to find the center part of the paracord and things. And how I pretty much like wrapped the paracord around, uh, you know, grabbing one end of the string, it really creates a pretty nice dimension or support, basically. So you could do this with the a shoestring, and you know, just the loop coming underneath, just because the gravity and weight uh, is, and you know, these supports are going to help pretty much keep this upright compared to this where at the underneath. Good improvement, just because I was going to just loop it onto one of my belt loops and things. You know, I could still use it to attach it to all types of stuff. And then and then I tried the neck harness and stuff. So with this carabiner and the lanyard, um, you know, I could probably use this for one of my GoPros. So definitely like with the camera situations. All right, so I've got a bunch of, you know, my flashlights, you know, power banks, everything piled up out of the way. And the pocket camera's right there. I swapped out the memory card on that. It's 128 gigabytes now. Um, so, and then what I'm trying to get at or through and stuff, and I've got a bike helmet, a helmet cam also. So this is practically the helmet cam. Um, so, and these GoPros technically work out okay. The thing is, um, a situation how I would, you know, modify for a chest camera. What's actually happening is only this case fits onto the um, to these certain brackets or mounts. So these cases, just because the these pulley connections. Um, so I'm going to be working on putting that together, and then with the right here. Yeah, that will actually fit. So now I'll just need like a zip tie, and this is gonna practically be my chest. I mean, it's going to be able to function. So somewhere through time, I kept a few items. I got a bunch of these rubber washers. Um, then the so I just need two of these. And then in this case, I've got a bunch of small uh, screws and things for the most part. But finding the right fat nut. So I found the right nut and probably a few extras. No, yeah, maybe. Alright, so I got two more washers and this, and I've got a little bit of spray paint. So I basically put the nut and washer inside of a plastic bag, and I'm going to spray paint it. So doing a little bit of indoor spray painting. So I got the spray paint. Alright, so I got to kind of keep an eye on this. I think a lot of solvents was sprayed around. I've got you know, to blow on it, I guess, to give it a little bit of dryness, and then dip it back in. Things like that. It looks good without the camera, but you know, the camera light and even flashlight shows a lot of flaws. All right, so that nut looks pretty nice. It's fully coated. You know, I don't see any. Still working on this bolt. I got a nice puddle, and the paint's starting to dry. So, all right, so that's mostly painted just because the paint is actually starting to dry. So if I keep rolling it in there, it's going to peel off whatever I've got. So I put the nut and the bolts right there. So I did a last twirl. The paint's really starting to, you know, start taking weighted so that for emergencies, I'll pretty much have a few of the items pretty much already tucked away. I've got my a few extra headlamps here and there. With these bike lights and things are going to be pretty useful, but I'm just going to store these items um, together so that, you know, when you know, instead of having to I tethered 3 USB cables for recharging together, so I'm not, you know, totally lost or, you know, just out of sync with where I'm putting stuff. These things will be ready, I think, with certain um, certain certain items. These are the GoPro chargers and things. The only issue that I'm having right now is, you know, I've got to probably get pretty much microfiber cloths in this area, or you know, just have things kind of tucked away, and you know, details like a separate bag for power banks, and I could probably keep and I'm going to add microfiber cloths. So kind of underneath this backpack, I've got this spare bag. I've got another pouch with a headlamp and 2 flashlights in there. I silicone this, and this is actually my power bank bag. So first things first, the really good power bank could get a really nice pocket. It's got a lanyard, and this lanyard, or not lanyard, carabiner. This carabiner is a little smaller than the. It might be the same. No, they're actually a little smaller than the ones that I recently got. I put all the carabiners I got into a Ziploc. Yeah, it's just a little smaller, but the same style. Really nice. And the thing is, yeah, I could do a few things. I could actually like store these carabiners in there, change out everything when I need it, kind of like carry it inside of a backpack. So just for now, I'm just sorting out these items so that I can kind of keep a few things. You know, most of the, I can't really say I peel off, but I gotta kind of basically like, I've gotta just engineer these, or just kind of have this into more to help me organize, as I keep working on stuff and um, trying to figure out whatever I can, sorting and cleaning. These are going to actually be in special spots, and they still need a little work. I need to bring a lighter in here and burn off threads. So I put a 32 gigabyte memory card in here. If I get another GoPro and stuff that actually works, basically be hands-free or safe with this. It's going to be pretty fun. Basically, it's going to be a fun item to figure out. So I kind of wanted to review and show off. So this is another thing that I did yesterday. So I did all the weatherproof, bunch of weatherproofing, and then I made this this wooden kind of jig, or I've got nails also. So I'm prepping up. Sorry about that. At first I was thinking of this, but when I wrap the paper clip, it's going to get caught. I'll have to be able to lift the paper clip. So, when I use the nail to kind of hold these pieces down and things like that. So, for some reason, I only have kind of like these smaller penny nails and things for like, and this is even smaller, but this is going to allow me to remove the paper clip without, or I could use my die grinder, nail these in first and then cut these off, which I probably will do because these are, and I have other ones, but there are little ridges on most of these roofing nails to help grab. But sometimes and then I made pretty much other items. First off, I started actually making these two barriers basically. These other ones were a little more taller, and this one is basically like almost the same width. So I could kind of a low profile barrier basically, and this is going to help you know contain the silicone. I'm going to be using some really water resistant silicone that I basically call the good stuff, and I have a little bit left in the tube. I don't really need a lot and this and that, so I'm going to want to experiment with like applying the silicone. A few small Q-tip ends and things. I could practically make a small spatula out of this Q-tip that I was using for gluing and things. And then, so I'm going to be making a small spatula, and then basically for, just extra items. And there's even actually a pretty good sized nail right here. It's a really longer roofing nail. I mean, people are kind of used to this, so maybe I could cut this one off. I didn't think I had something like that. So the next tool I kind of made is this little small scraper. You see how, well, there's a little hole inside of the tape, and then I folded it, taped it on both sides. And there's also a piece of plastic, and this was one of the wire rebars, I will call it. Applying silicone for siliconing, I could just run the, I could probably adjust the height of this, and I could adjust the thickness of the silicone layer, hopefully. So move or adjust this, or even hold it on this side and then use this as a squeegee.